My name's Rhoda Roberts and I'm going to be your MC for this evening. Well, I'm actually honoured to be here as a friend of Tourism Australia, a friend of Australia. And of course we're here working with Tourism Australia to look at this next stage and to promote what is so special and unique about our amazing country. Now, I'm a Bundjalung Widjabul Gidabul woman from northern New South Wales, southeast Queensland. So before we go any further, I would like to acknowledge the fact that we are on the lands of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and to pay our respects to those mob. And also, I guess, we're here to look at there's nothing like Australia. And there is nothing like Australia, and I know the Gadigal probably thought that for many thousands of years when people were coming here and welcomed them to this place. Well, we want to provide you a little bit more of an insight into the next phase of the Tourism Australia campaign. It's a global brand campaign, and it was launched in Shanghai just recently, up there in China. And we will also have a very special performance tonight from a very talented young Australian singer, guitarist Dwayne Everett Smith, who co-wrote the soundtrack for the new campaign, and he wrote that in collaboration with an American viola player, Jasmine Beams. But first, let's take a look at the rationale behind the new campaign. So, I think the best person to do this would be Tony McAvoy. Tony McAvoy is actually an Aboriginal lawyer, excuse me. It's Andrew McAvoy you really want to see.
There's nothing like Australia.
Oh, we'll watch the video.
Designed to be flexible, it's time to evolve the campaign creative and tourism messaging to keep it relevant in a highly competitive and fast-changing global tourism environment. Tourism Australia's global campaign, There's Nothing Like Australia, is inextricably linked to our industry's Tourism 2020 strategy, and with it the overall goal of doubling overnight visitor expenditure from today's $70 billion up to $140 billion by the end of the decade.
This campaign is deliberately designed to enable our partners, such as airlines, state tourism authorities, territory tourism authorities, to work with us in this campaign. They can get their message over at the same time as we're getting over a uniform message about Australia. We certainly believe that we are stronger together if we communicate with one voice, and it is vitally important that we continue to highlight what is fantastic about the Australian experience.
From a marketing perspective, it's incredibly important to see the research that Tourism Australia does and to learn and to try and develop products and experiences based around the research they provide. Consumer insights are incredibly important to make sure we deliver the visitor experiences in different markets that people want to have when they get here. And there's no other organisation that provides that sort of leadership and marketing initiative in the industry.
Tourism Australia's job is to create demand for the best of our destination. It's a $94 billion industry employing almost 1 million Australians. Part of that job is to create advertising that appeals to the world's consumer. It's a campaign that will be seen in 25 countries around the world. It'll be heavily promoted in Asia, in particular China, but also India, Indonesia, the UK, Europe, the Americas, and people in Australia will see it also. It's a great campaign for the world.
I believe keenly that Australia's future is very much hinged to the development in our northern region, all of Asia, including China, and particularly South Asia. Whenever someone comes to Australia for whatever purpose, they're touched by the tourism industry, so that when visitors arrive here, they know that Australia has invested in cultural skills, in many cases the language skills and the literacy skills to be able to provide Asian tourists with the experience that's going to make them want to return to Australia again and again and again.
澳大利亚是一个非常受中国旅游者欢迎的旅游国度，这里有湛蓝的天空、清新的空气和友好的民众。
This latest iteration of the campaign builds on an already successful and established platform and takes it a step further by highlighting Australia's finest tourism attractions, experiences and products, proving to the world why there's nothing like Australia.
There are two main insights that are driving this campaign. The first is a marketing principle that you lead with your best. You show what is the best about your product or your brand, in this case about our country. And the second is we've put a platform line out there, there's nothing like Australia. So now it's our job to prove it. If you can show the most unique things that differentiate you the most, there's a halo effect that goes to everything else that you do. And we know that Australia really stacks up when we go out there with the world's best.
Social media is vital now. All media is becoming social, so you have to become involved. It's where the audiences are, it's where they do their research, it's where they share their ideas, whether for the next weekend or whether for a longer term holiday.
The centrepiece of this campaign is this fantastic, inspiring piece of film. But it's not just a TVC, it's also about getting that content and taking it online, sharing it through the Facebook group, as well as optimising for platforms like the tablet, utilising all that great content and longer form content to really help audiences have a much deeper engagement with the experience of Australia, as well as an entirely new print campaign, which is all really about there's nothing like Australia, trying to emotionally engage the viewer as to what it's like to really be here.
Look, every campaign's got to evolve, and this campaign's been working its socks off for Australia. There's nothing like Australia launched back in 2010, has more than 180 partners on board in 25 countries, 17 languages. It's time to take it up a notch. We're a beautiful, wondrous country that people do want to search out, know about, understand, and ultimately travel to.
And this is the real Andrew McAvoy, Managing Director of Tourism Australia.
Thanks, Rhoda.
Andrew.
Yes, exactly. I think can I just acknowledge Rhoda? Rhoda is a friend of Australia, and she's quite an incredible talent in her own right. And you may know when we all watched that incredible performance at the 2000 Olympics, the Indigenous component of that. Rhoda created that, so she's an incredible friend of Australia, and we're really privileged to have her here tonight, so thank you, Rhoda.
Thank you, Tony. Always slow off the mark. Anyway, Andrew, thank you. That's wonderful. I actually want to know more about the campaign.
Sure. Well, go to the website and read about it. I'm just kidding. Look, the campaign launched, as I said, in 2010 in lots of countries, in lots of languages. It's very good. Lots of partners are bought in. When you're Tourism Australia just running an ad, it's not like just an individual business. You need other people to buy into it. And that's what our industry has done. We have about 14 airline partnerships. We have a lot of global distribution partnerships, media partnerships, etc. So it's quite incredible. We launched this campaign last week in China, and it's really just new creative. And as I said in the video, it's taking it up a notch. We are a quality destination in a very competitive world. There are probably 200 countries around the world trying to get the same visitors that we're trying to get. So we have to really stand out from the crowd.
So you launch in China, but you want to go global.
Yes.
How do you think this will translate globally?
Well, we've checked it out. David Holdness is here. We've actually shown this out in research and focus groups, and it drives a lot of fantastic aspiration for our country. And that's one thing, but awareness and aspiration is not good enough for our industry. The key that it does when you do look at it, it gets people to do the next thing. And the next thing is often, I talk to a friend or relative about this country, Australia, who've been before, and they give me their recommendations. I go and visit a good old-fashioned travel agent or online seller or direct seller or anyone else that might be able to tell me a bit about Australia, or I go online, or I go on Facebook and I talk about it. And that's what we're trying to do. And we launched it in China, really symbolically, because China is now Australia's highest value tourism market and our fastest growing market. More than 550,000 Chinese are now coming. It grew by 20% last year, 25% the year before. But as Rhoda said, it'll launch not just in China, simultaneously it's here in Australia. If you watch the State of Origin tonight, where's OMD? It'll play at half time, a full 3 minutes. Very nervous laughs there from OMD. But we also launched it in the US, in the UK, and that will roll out to another 16 countries throughout this year.
And in Shanghai, how did they actually respond when they saw this campaign?
Now, it's a technical term, Rhoda, they went nuts.
We are going to rock the world.
No, they loved it. We had about 80 Chinese media, and Eva Huang, who's here, who's running our China office, and Johnny Nee, who runs North Asia. It was quite incredible, really, wasn't it? We had media coverage that in Australian ad equivalency was worth more than $40 million. This ad online, and you'll see it in a minute, we won't hold you much longer, has already been downloaded 8 million times in 1 week. Now, largely that's been as a result of having launched it in China, but it's been downloaded in Indonesia, in India, in in anywhere you can name, the US, and even in Australia now, which is amazing. The other thing is Nick will demonstrate an app that goes with it, which is an incredible app, and I'll let him do that. But that's also being downloaded at a rate of knots. So a really high impact beginning to the next phase of our creative.
Brilliant. Can we congratulate Andrew once again? And I know you would all love to see the campaign. I know I want to see it again. But if I could call Nick Baker, Executive General Manager Marketing, who can give us a little bit more about the 2 versions we're going to see.
Thanks, Rhoda. Yeah. So we're going to have a look at 2 versions, a 60-second and a longer one, which I'll explain in a minute. But it's an incredible thing as a marketer when you sit down and you have a brand, which is the country, and you look at a clean sheet of paper and you go out there, well, how are we going to show the world? Now we've established this line, there's nothing like Australia. We've really got to go out there and show the world why there's nothing like Australia. And there's a lot of things that you try and do. We work together with DDB, our agency, to look at how we're going to do that. And we wanted to do it in a very simple way, in a way that actually had the land as a bit of a character in it, and really brought the country to the fore. It's a very simple, sophisticated, but a beautiful way to tell the story of the country. So I hope you really like it. We think it's a lovely piece of film. So we're going to show you the 60-second version now.
Life has drawn you here. Feel the warmth underneath. Breathe it in and let it feel your heart. It's like love. Cleanse your soul. Breathe it in your lungs, will stay. It's like love. Cleanse your soul.
So when you do that, as I said, you have this clean sheet of paper, but there's one thing that stood out for us. We had done a project about 1.5 years ago with YouTube, and they brought their symphony orchestra down. In fact, you may remember because it performed here at the Opera House. And as part of that, we got together with YouTube. We said we want to take 4 of the musicians that have come down and partner with 4 musicians from Australia, and we'll take them out to some places in the country that we think are really inspiring, and get them to be inspired by that place and create an original score framed about people that they met and the places that they went. Now, one of those musicians is here with us tonight, Dwayne Everett-Smith, as you've heard Rhoda mention, and he got together with Jasmine Beams and they created a piece of music called It's Like Love, which is the song that underscores this. And we thought it was written around the country and it's a beautiful, evocative piece to take out to the world. So the next version I'm going to show you is the full 3-minute version. So make sure you've got a drink in your hands. And hope you're going to enjoy this, because this really shows the whole breadth and depth of the country. I'd like to do a little quiz afterwards of those people who can name all the places that we went to. Very tough job to go out to all these places, but it really does bring home, and I hope it does to you that live in Australia, just how wonderful this country is.
Has drawn you here. Feel the warmth underneath. Breathe it in and let it feel your heart. It's like love. Cleanse your soul. Feel it in your veins. Breathe it in your lungs, will stay. It's like love. For the first time seen it all before, till you found something more. Breathe it in and let it feel in your heart. It's like love, yeah, cleanse your soul. Feel it in your veins. Breathe it in your lungs, so stand. It's like love, for the first time. It'll all make sense, you know. Yeah, you know.
That is actually really moving. I was watching that, and from a personal level, I'm actually very touched by it, because I think something extraordinary has happened with this campaign. There's an embedding of all cultures of Australia in that campaign, and we do love country. And I watched that, Nick, and I saw the Jawoyn and the Bardi, Unanoo, Pitjantjatjara, the Gadigal, the Bundjalung, and the Yolngu, and the Kuka-Yalanji, were just a few of the countries I saw in that ad.
Thank you. Yeah, I think one of those things is when you go out and take a picture of the country and you go out there. There was one story, I went out with my family, and you may have seen Brian, who was up with that giant mud crab, and we were up there, which is taken at Cape Levesque. And probably not very many people have been to Cape Levesque, but it was just so beautiful the way that you integrate the experiences out there around tourism, that it was just magic, and great to be able to bring that to film.
Now, as you mentioned before, it's much more than just the film, the video package that we're sending out to the world. Times are changing, and I think Andrew did mention a few things about digital and other advocacy media that you would be focusing on?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, it's not just about a big ad these days. It's about how that you engage people. And, you know, as Tourism Australia, one of our jobs is really as a storyteller. And bringing some of these stories to life. And in the making of this, we had sort of 13 stories that we put into this, that each of the scenes depict. And so we thought, how do we bring that to life? And so we've gone out and we've created, with a company called Padworks in the US, a tablet app. And this tablet, please go on and download it, because it's a wonderful way of bringing together storytelling and a travel journal and a travel show. And so I'm just going to, with the wonders of technology, demonstrate that a little bit to you. That my wife and my son, when we were up in Broome on that holiday.
We can't see it yet. Wait, we want to see the picture.
Oh. I'm just looking at my own screen. So when you download it, the book opens, if you like, that represents the story of what's going on. And the ad plays out here at the beginning of the book. And then it folds over to the 13 locations in the country that we went to. And they all sort of pop up. And that's when you can start going into each of those, if you imagine them as like chapters, to find out the stories. So we'll go into one of them today. I'll pick one. We'll pick Kangaroo Island. And when you go into that, you can either experience it or find out more about it through Discover. So we'll just go into that and see what happens. And it comes out and it's in sort of full audio visual, and then you just use it as you would do with anything on here, and you just sort of take this, and the story unfolds here about this couple that went out to Southern Ocean Lodge and had this incredible experience when they were down in Kangaroo Island. And as you go down it, there's pictures that come into it, there's pieces of video, there's animation, there's all kinds of things that come to it. And then if you want to, you can go into and look at any of the other places, other chapters. Or if you go into Discover, what comes up is more information, and it comes up with a sort of full little video that tells a bit of the story about Kangaroo Island. So you get this visual narrative that's playing out there, and at any one time you can look at pictures, you can can go back to that. You can locate it geographically. You can go onto it and share it. You can go into sites, or else you can actually go into products that are there. And so if you go into one of those products, that'll come up, and again you can share it, or else you can go straight into the links through here, and you can go straight into the website of that particular product. So on that journey that we're trying to go on from inspiration through to information, this is a beautiful way to bring people down there and help tell their stories from around from the country. So that's what we've done.
Boy, that is amazing. Congratulations, Nick. Thank you so much. And look, if you want to know a little bit more about those tablets, we do have some staff. You'll see there are a number of plinths around the room. There's one over there. They're going to roam around, and you can have a look at the app and try it for yourselves. Now, we mentioned Dwayne Everett Smith, and he's a very talented Australian man. He's also a Kurnai Kane man, Palawa man from Tasmania, based in Hobart, and he will be accompanied tonight by Daniel Kulyari on piano. Dwayne, of course, composed the beautiful song in collaboration with Jasmine Bean, the viola player, called It's Like Love. Can you please welcome the beautiful Dwayne Everett Smith and
Thank you very much. This song, you know, even though we in the process of making this song as part of making tracks with Jasmine, it was a song that we wrote and put together in a matter of 3-4 days. And it was such a, you know, as an Aboriginal man from Tasmania, it was such a fitting project to do, to travel Tasmania and Victoria and grow that connection to land. And this is what this song is about. You know, I wanted this song to mean more than just Jasmine and I travelling around. And this song is about when we go through hard times, when we go through difficult times, and we all identify with a place or a thing where we go to feel peace. And that's what this song is about. Life is strong here. Feel the warmth on your knee. Breathe it in and let it fill your heart. It's like love. Cleanse your soul, yeah. Feel it in your veins. Breathe it in your lungs will stay.